Hello and welcome to the Munro Method Clancast. I am Jason Munro. This is episode 178. I am a little late recording this one. I do apologise. It's Easter Sunday right now. And many of you will be enjoying everything that Easter has to offer. I've had a bit of a theme going on Instagram today, and I really wanted to come and just dump it down long form in a podcast episode. When you do this for as long as I have, you start to view the world through a different lens, like particularly the world that I have to work in and live in, right? The weight loss world, the yo-yo diet world. And my Instagram today is filled with people who are banging on about the best way to navigate Easter, the best thing to do with your Easter eggs. You know, what do you need to do today to be able to enjoy chocolate? You know, get on back track, how to get back on track after Easter, like all this shit. And the thing is, it sells, right? It gets attention. People think that's what they need. Because most people think like that, that's the kind of content that they buy into. Please listen to this, right? If you are in a position where you have to micromanage every one of these perfectly normal and regular frequent occasions that comes up, you have a bigger problem going on than getting back on track tomorrow, or what the lowest calorie Easter egg is, or whether or not you should take all your Easter eggs and smash them with a rolling pin, then portion them up into 80-gram bags and stick them in the freezer. Like, if you're in a place where you have to micromanage your diet like that every time Easter comes along, Christmas comes along, holidays, birthdays, anniversaries, nights out, takeaways, social occasions. If you live in a world where you have to micromanage anything like that, then you're drawing attention to it. You know, we often talk about having a good relationship with food, how we don't want to put food on a pedestal, because if we put food on a pedestal, then our behaviour around it changes, we turn into a different person. You're never going to have a good relationship with foods that you get like that around. Why do we not take that a step further and say, well, if you put birthdays on a pedestal, if you put Easter on a pedestal, if you put all the other things that I mentioned on a pedestal, then you're going to make a big deal about them. Yeah, I said something in one of the posts today that you eat chocolate 365 days of the year. The only difference is at Easter, it's shaped like an egg. It's the same bloody chocolate you always eat. Why do we make such a massive deal about it on this one day of the year? Well, I know why. I'm not going to get into that conversation because I have my own feelings about consumerism and mass marketing and people getting roped into spending excessive amounts of money on stuff they really don't need to. That's just one of my bugbears. Also, one of the joys of being single, no longer having to do all that excessive stuff. But yeah, if you are living in a world where you have to micromanage days like today, where you have to think carefully about how much chocolate you're going to eat, or you know what size of portion you're going to have, how many Easter eggs should I buy myself, what should I do with all the ones that are in the house, should I give them away, should we just get through them all this week so that they're all gone? If you are overthinking like that about something that should be, can you hear that rain? It's horrendous. This is Storm Dave. If you're thinking like that, then there is a much bigger issue at play. It is not because of Easter. It's not because of Christmas. It's not because of the holiday or the annual leave or the school holidays or being out of routine. It's because of how fragile your diet is, how fragile your approach to eating is. You know, days like today make up, what, 5% of the year? Like, if we added up all the days like Easter, Halloween, Christmas, whatever else, what percentage would that make up of your 365 days of the year? Like, how many birthdays are there in your house and close to you? 5, 6, 7, 8? Add Easter, add Halloween, add a couple of days at Christmas. It's going to be a tiny percentage. If these individual days have the power to influence you in such a dramatic way, then there is, you need to take a massive step back from Easter and say, actually, what is the main problem here? The real problem is that my diet is chaos the other 364 days of the year. That's why I have to micromanage things like that, not because of today, but because of how things are going the rest of the time. That's the part that I should be focusing on and working on and where my attention should be. So, yeah. I'm sorry, this has been a bit of a rant, but honestly, when social media is so unhelpful because on the one hand, you've got people who are trying to be helpful, people like me, evidence-based, logical, balanced people, trying to encourage you and tell you that you have unconditional permission to eat. You do not need to earn your Easter eggs. You don't need to burn them off. Eating an Easter egg does not take you off track. You don't need to get back on track tomorrow. And that's fine, but advice like that is not helpful to people who cannot think like that right now. I think that's one of the biggest struggles. If I said to you, you can, just eat the chocolate. It's not a big deal. And if you stop making it a big deal, everything will be fine. It doesn't work like that. You'll eat the chocolate, you feel terrible because you don't know how to handle the emotions because you're still too close to it. Like, you have to go through a process to get to the point where you can think and act and behave and feel like that. It doesn't just happen because someone says it to you. In the same way that it's unhelpful for people to be dishing out all the advice at the opposite end of the spectrum. Just have the Easter egg, get back on track tomorrow. It's only one day, fill your boots with chocolate. None of these things are balanced. And that's what we need. I am so sorry that social media is the way that it is. Like, I really am. It upsets me. Like, it really pisses me off. It gets me down on a daily basis that I know that there are people who are not as fortunate as me to have the knowledge and experience that I do, who are out there navigating social media without the protection of that filter, without being able to ignore things and not listen to things. Somebody messaged me the other day and say, how do I spot people who are giving bad advice? Like, you're always talking about people who aren't qualified. How do I spot them? It's very hard. I can do it. You only need to read I only need to read the way that people talk about things to get a feel for whether they know what they're talking about or not, or if they've got qualifications. But most people don't put their qualifications on Instagram anyway. And I think that's one of the problems, because it's like an ongoing thing where, well, like even people who are personal trainers and coaches, they don't want to put boring stuff like that in their bio. Some people do, but then it makes their bio super unattractive. People don't want to follow them. They're not interested. Level 3 PT, level 2 kettlebell instructor. Like, nobody cares about that stuff. So people don't put it in. Like, I've got nutritionist as my label, but I really don't think that it means much, because there are plenty of people using the nutritionist label who are not nutritionists. It's just the closest thing they could find to what they do. They might be a Groupon nutrition coach who did a 3-day course on calories and macros. Anyway, Jesus. Sorry this was a rant. It just honestly gets me, it makes me so, it really gets me down that you guys are out there navigating the world without the filter that I have, and listening. Like, even those of you I'm working with, those of you who have listened to this podcast for a long time, those of you who are more clued up than the majority of people, you're still going to get caught out at times. You're still not going to feel good. You're going to step on the scales, or you're going to see a picture of yourself, or you're going to sit and poke and prod at your body. You're not going to feel good. Then you're going to see something on Instagram. It's going to catch you while your guard's down, and then you're going to start questioning everything. Everybody gets affected by it. Anyway, I don't have any Easter advice for you, right? Other than, if you're eating chocolate, enjoy it. And if you are eating chocolate, don't do it standing up. Don't do it sitting in front of the TV. Don't do it when you're in a rush, or when you're driving the car, or eating as quick as you can. Take it somewhere, sit down with it, and fully enjoy it. Actually connect with it. Taste it. Feel it going down your throat. Enjoy it. That's the only advice I have. If you have any other issues going on, then that's stuff that you have to start working on now for next Easter. It's too late to change this Easter, just like it's too late to change what's coming up in the next week or so. You can get the hints and the tips and the hacks to try and get through it, but that's all you're doing. You're playing the survival game with your diet. You're not living. It's just, I need to get through the next thing, and what's the next challenge I have to get through. Actually making change, when you're making changes to the way that you think and feel about food, you're not doing it for today. You're doing it for this time next year so that when next Easter comes around, you think and feel completely differently. When the school holidays and the birthdays and Christmas and everything comes around, you've already done the work the other 360 plus days of the year. So that Christmas just becomes a fun time, a great time, but that's it, just another time. Anyway, sorry, I know that was a rant, but it's out of my system now. Until next time.